So I really start with a concept, and the concepts that stay in my head and won't go away are the ones that I come back to and decide, okay, this one needs to be addressed. I need to work with this idea. And that's how I get my project started. I really work from the outside in rather than from the inside out. So I never have a pattern, and I'm not an excellent seamstress, but in that way I'm more of a collagist as I put the materials together onto the form. I think that there's so many ways to go about creating fiber art and other fiber projects, and everyone has their own process. This is the one that makes me excited and jump out of bed in the morning. Well, the two dresses on my left, right here, were inspired particularly by the wrinkles in the corner of my eye, which were right here. And I love that cascading pattern, and I wanted to recreate it in the dresses. I love to collect various pieces of fabric. People give me old things, and I build them all on a thrift store dress. So in these two examples, in creating the cascade, I used, of course, acquired things and vintage things. As an example, this piece, and of which wraps around the back of the dress, is actually from a, I think, 1960s bridesmaid's dress. This sort of kind of puce green chiffon dress. And I thought, wow, was that really the color? So I decided to wash it. And I washed it very gently, and I laid it out to dry. And when it was dry, the fabric had done this. And I thought, oh, well, I can't make a dress with this, but it's so amazing, I'm going to do something with it. A lot of my dresses are wearable for a short period of time. A few of them are wearable for a little longer, and some of them really are not wearable at all, which this one is. They also are, as I said, always built on thrift store dresses, and the style of the dress inspires me in how I will construct it. Sometimes the dress style is just what I'm interested in. Sometimes it's something that I need to build around, but I like to use a pre-constructed form because then I'm really focusing on the sculptural aspect rather than the sewing of the piece itself. I do some of the sewing, and I definitely get help. I'm not an expert seamstress. I pin and I rearrange as I would a sculpture, as I would choreographing a dance. No, let's put this piece here, or let's put that piece there. And when I'm doing that, time just flies. I have to stop at a certain point, and I'll stand back and I'll say, nah, no good. Come back the next day to the studio and think, okay, well, you know, maybe this part is really good. And so that's how I build the pieces. These photos were the inspiration for the red and blue dresses. I was really having fun with the photographer photographing the folds of my belly as I bent forward. And I thought that was a really interesting pattern, which is reflected in the dresses. And again, it's part of the sense of binding of the body. The photograph on the far side, or I'm sorry, above, is of my neck and the cords, the tendons, the bones of the neck. And that, for me, was another sense of cascading and the snake-like forms that you see on the dresses. So the dresses here, the red and the blue dresses, are based on some other thoughts and two other photographs. And what I was really interested in working with was decorative materials like upholstery trim and pieces of scarves that women wear. And that enabled me to refer to how women are decorated and how we are enclosed in our garments. And the wrapping of the various trims and the weaving of the trims together felt to me definitely like an enclosing netting for the woman, for the female form. And that was very evocative to me, because I think that clothes both express what we want to say about ourselves and also are things that people make assumptions about us with. The red dress is actually made from silk tie samples. A friend of mine gave these to me, whose mother was a quilter, and I cut them on the bias and I wrapped them in cords, and I created these lines, or if you will, wrinkles. And I thought that it was interesting also that the woman, the female form, would be bound again, but with fabrics associated with menswear and with men. The hem of the skirt is pleated tie samples. And so as you can see, some of the ties would have been kind of fun. I tried to use the more fun patterns.